Sarah, and we're having some girl chat with Ashley from The Bee and the Fox, one of my favorite new lines. I got one of their t-shirts on, Dime Store Cowgirl. Couldn't get any better than that since I have a show out in Nashville normally during these times. How are you surviving this pandemic?
Oh my gosh, it's so much. It's a roller coaster. I feel like one day I'm riding high, one day I'm riding low, and all in all, I think it's just about surrender and acceptance. That's where my happy place is. So, not too bad. I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to look at it. I mean, every day is a new day. We're all exhausted from the election, waiting for those results still.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I know. But you have this really inspiring line that was brought to my attention, and I wanted you to tell us a little bit about how the bee and the fox came to be. Like, where'd you get that name? That's such a creative name.
Oh, it's funny that you ask about the name because it's, I feel like at this point, a part that I hate to share because it involves my ex-husband who I'm recently divorced from, but it was, I am indecisive as all beings. So I was just trying to think of a name for it one day. And I had always called him the fox and he'd always call me the bee. And so just put it together, which kind of gives it this false idea that he had something to do with it. But I mean, it wasn't really a joint effort ever. So it's misleading, but it's also a part of the story. So it is what it is,
Oh, that's so cute. Like, I was just trying, I was reading the background to everything. I'm like, I wonder where they came up with this, because you said back in the day you had moved to San Francisco and you got really inspired by t-shirts, and then you mentioned the hypercolor and your nose bleeding, and I thought that was so funny because I had those hypercolor shirts.
Yes.
I don't know, were they I can't remember what they were called.
Bum equipment.
Yeah.
Totally.
So that was funny to hear that. But I mean, that's kind of how your inspiration grew into this line.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I can still remember, I went to college in San Francisco, and it was one of those street vendors that had one of those shops set up underneath the tent. And I wasn't even in a relationship with the person I ended up having kids. I wasn't even in a relationship at the time. I didn't have any kids. And there was this little ringer tee that was like kind of like a touristy San Francisco shirt with like the Golden Gate Bridge on it. And it had this like beautiful kind of old school font that said San Francisco. And I bought it right then and there. I was like, whenever I have my kids, whatever day that will be, this will be like the first t-shirt that they ever have. And I mean, I suppose we all, like, from what you're reading, you've read my story, and t-shirts are something we all have. It's, you can think back to specific points in your life. You see photos. I mean, I think when we grew up, there wasn't like a photo of every day of your life like there is so much now. So I'm curious how it will change over time. But right now, when I look back on albums from my childhood, it's like you can remember certain periods of time by like, oh my God, that t-shirt. Like, for me, it was like these white cowboy boots that I wore all the time. There's those like staples that kind of mark a nostalgic period that you will never forget. And you build that association and those memories around those clothing pieces, which for many of us is t-shirts, which is kind of cool.
It is cool. And you have a lot of inspirational ones. You did some for voting. Also, you're very focused on women's, rights and everything, and, the right to go out and breastfeed. You do a lot of that with the t-shirts. So what made that become one of your models?
It kind of follows what I go through in my life. I mean, kind of like revelations that, my own personal journey. I think that's why I feel like, I'm sure a lot of people feel like this when they start a business, but it feels like another child of mine because it is very much a reflection of myself and where I'm at in my life. Like for me, I didn't grow up necessarily thinking of myself as a feminist in any way. But as soon as I became a mother, it was really motherhood that kind of changed how I thought of womanhood. Just because I suddenly felt all of those societal pressures, and I felt so boxed into a role that it just brought so many questions. I saw my mom in a whole new light. I saw my responsibilities in a whole new light. I saw my husband in a whole new light. I just, it kind of made me realize how far we need to go, how much work still needs to be done, and why we fight the fights that we do.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, people don't understand. I've done businesses. You have to go through so many starts and fails and then pick yourself back up and do it again. I did read, this is something that we have in common. We both had pretty serious car accidents. Last year I had one. It kind of set me back a year. You know, somebody hit me, rolled down the highway, had a major concussion and leg injuries, and yours was way worse, way worse. But it's, don't you feel that sometimes that's like your wake up call, like something else is calling to you, some kind of being that something you got to grow, something new's on the horizon, I guess.
For sure. And I think it also just points out to how much is not in our control. You know, I think we are
Right.
given this
I
like
agree.
false sense
Yeah.
that like the more we try to like fine tooth comb things, that the more control we have over it. And it's not the case, you know. I mean, it's just, yeah, you can't plan on everything, and you have to roll with the punches. And yeah, it's just kind of like everything's not in our control, not meant to be in our
Nope.
control. That's kind of a blessing too, because it kind of takes a lot off your shoulders when you realize there's not so much you need to be holding on to.
It's so true. That's how I felt. I was just like, I have to do this. I have to do this. And then you just like, now I'm kind of more like, all right, take it slow. We'll get there. And it's a lot of work to run a business. I mean, how many years have you been doing this? Everybody needs to see this website. It's so cool. So
I
cool.
kind of lose track. I think it's been 6 years. I know
Okay.
I started in October, so this might be the start of the 6th year. I'm not quite sure.
But all the designs on the website for the t-shirts, the keychains and everything are very cute. So you said you work with one of your friends, Janet?
Yes, it's spelled Janet, but it's pronounced Jeanette. But yeah. So like my point being, when you asked about how the name came about, it's like it's always been a me and her thing. So it's kind of a bummer the name doesn't reflect that. But
like reflect you guys, right?
I heard like I used to like have a hard time making connections with that in my head, to how like I love this brand so much, but I have this kind of like ugly divorce that like that it kind of came from. But
right.
I heard this one interview with Aiden and Anaya, that baby blanket brand. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
No.
But anyway, she started.
I'm not helpful because I don't have kids. I'm not helpful.
Yeah, they became huge because I think when Prince Harry, I'm like, I don't keep up with royal stuff, but when they had their first baby, they used Aiden and whatever blanket, and like,
and then everybody wanted it.
Million. I mean, they were like overnight. It was like crazy.
Right.
But she broke ties with her business partner, and the name like is reflective of them. But I heard her talk about it so beautifully that like you don't get to like rewrite your story. Like your story starts how your story is, and that's just the way it is, and that's just the way it goes. And it made me think, okay, I can own that part of it. Yeah, it's okay. But Jeanette and I are the we've done
real
it from
bee
day
fox.
one. Yes, and it's funny thinking back, because when I started it, I really was I was working as a registered nurse. I still do, by the way. I still have my day
I'm a
job.
pharmacist.
Yes, but oh no way! Awesome,
yeah.
very cool.
That's exhaustion. So we have election, front lines, and everything going on. A lot.
Wow. Do you work in like a pharmacy, or do you work in a hospital setting? Like what setting do you work in?
I work in the retail world. The 3-letter. Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's been cool. A long week.
I bet. But so at the time I was working as a nurse, I had 2 kids. I had 2 babies at home, and she was living in Utah. We went to college together back in the day. We've traveled the world together. We've been best friends, inseparable, for over 20 years. So she worked as a freelance graphic designer, and then she was freelancing at the time, but now she's got a full-time job with Microsoft, and she had her own thing. And but she made the first 4 designs. We worked on them together, and that's really the birth of it. And yeah, I mean, she still is. I mean, I talk to her every day. I don't run any major decisions without going through her first. So
right.
We still keep very close, working on it side by side.
Is she doing all the new designs for now? You just put up some, I was on Instagram, and you have some new signs. The first one is my favorite one.
Oh, the one I just posted?
Yes. I forget exactly how it's worded, but it's like she doesn't need anybody to tell her that she's good. Oh, there it is.
A woman who does not require validation from anyone is the most feared individual on the planet, which comes, I mean, that to me is so tied to my, like I said, it all comes from things that resonate in my own life. Like that is like my divorce. That is my divorce mantra right there.
Right.
Like I really needed self-validation.
Right.
That was a big thing in my life and in my divorce. So yeah, that's where that comes from. And
actually, I'm gonna have to get that and put that in I'm in the middle of constructing my Instagram room. So this is just like my living room background for all my shows, but it's gonna get an upgrade. So
cool. Yeah. Yes, you need it. It's a good one.
Definitely. I know it's like, and you said that like about divorce and everything. That's another thing. I'm a single girl, and like COVID has totally put a nix on everybody dating. Like because we're frontliners, who really wants to go out and like make out with somebody you don't even know? Let's be honest.
I don't even have any time today. I really,
that's another
COVID or not, I have majority of custody and I have 3 small children and I'm schooling them
running a business.
And I'm running my business and I'm still working as a nurse. And it's just, I am not going to lie. Dating is like, I don't even
not there.
I don't even think about it. No.
It's always comes when you least expect it. So let's see what happens.
It is. And I do think that from what I've been through, I have no interest. I don't know that I can ever trust anybody again from what I've gone through. So I think I just need, I say I'm dating myself and I am. I'm just like really happy getting to know myself right now.
Well, that's a great thing too. Like I've had all that time in the world to figure that out. Like I just watch people and I'm like, I just kind of watch and grow from watching others.
Yeah.
Different struggles and stuff. And I'm like, I don't want that.
Right.
I don't want that either. And I don't want somebody telling me what to do. Oh, good Lord.
I live vicariously through friends that are dating and I'm just thankful every time the story ends that it wasn't me. Awesome. I didn't have to put that time in and get to that result. Like all the better.
Right.
You know?
It's so true. It's so
doing
true.
a lot. We've traveled a lot, even through COVID. We've done a couple road trips,
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I love my life right now. I mean,
it's where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll come up with some new designs. Oh, that's what I was saying about earlier. The breastfeeding one was a big one for you. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how like actually in the beginning when I first started Instagram, and I think before you have 10,000 followers, it shows you like the exact number, it shows down to the single digit. And anytime I would post a picture of a woman breastfeeding in our shirts, the followers would just like just roll back. And I was like, it happened enough times that I realized like, oh my gosh, these people are clicking unfollow because they're offended by seeing a woman breastfeed. And now I think I've built enough of a brand that people know what they're getting when they hop on there. But that was a real big eye opener early on that like this many people in our world are uncomfortable by seeing a woman's body used in this manner. And that's
they are
crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
I know. It is crazy. It's crazy what you think. Like for me, like recently with the election, I decided to put my voice out there. I had a bigger voice. So I wrote an article about why you should, vote for Biden. It's out there that that's who I like. And, and, it's just like, I started losing followers on Twitter and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care because it's a bigger picture here that people are missing where I want them to see what they're missing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's why I keep my job as a nurse. I feel like it gives me the ability to use that voice and not get attached to like losing, because people will come at you, especially when you're a business, like they want to like, I want to return every shirt I've ever bought from you.
Oh, I can't.
Nasty.
Yeah.
I just keep thinking like, it's nice that I keep that job for a reason. And it's because it gives me the freedom to say what I want and stand in my own voice and not have to worry about that. Cause I always think that's okay. They can all go away and I'll just go back to my nursing job and this will be a-okay. So I know that gives me that I have that kind of thing to fall back on. Otherwise it feels very scary to like, when you're
say
running
anything.
a business that supports your life, you know, to put yourself out there and have people disagree to the point where they are no longer following your business, supporting your business, and, you know, telling all these crazy things about your business to other people. So yeah, it's scary, but I agree with you. I think it's the right thing to do. I think now and several times in our history, we've been at a crossroads where people that have a voice, with, you know, or everyone has a voice, but even a platform that's going to reach people. I feel like it's a responsibility at a certain point, you know, to remain neutral during times of oppression is just further oppression. So
yeah, you're just,
yeah.
I agree. It's like I was saying, like today on Twitter, I was like, in my bio, people have not noticed for the last year, because I was always for Biden straight out of the gates. And in my bio, it says I'm a huge Joe Biden supporter. And it took a long time for people, probably the last month, to realize what I was up to. Like I would sneakily put them into our podcast, like back here. I'm trying to write a children's book about adopting dogs. And so I have my Beat Trump has been there the whole time. You know what I mean? Like I subliminally put that out there, but then I wrote that article, and then, you know, people saw it, you know.
Very
but
cool.
yeah, but like what you're doing is just so inspiring. And then so every month you're donating to a different cause, which is the Warrior Women's. Yeah,
it's project. Really cool. And they're doing an amazing thing. I mean, they are highlighting and bringing their thing is that they want Indigenous history to be told through the women's eyes. So they are interviewing different women. They have a whole film out. It's really cool. Every time I get to kind of learn about a new organization and what they're doing, and and it gives me an opportunity to kind of put our money where our mouth is, and to do something that's bigger than just selling t-shirts, because sometimes it's like, I don't know, like I had a friend who told me, like, you should start another business. Like, you'll appreciate this. You should start another side business aside from the Bee and the Fox, where you sell shirts just to Trump supporters, and then you take all that money and you donate it to the Biden campaign. And I was like, that is a brilliant
idea.
Like taking money from like one group and then using
it into the other
enemy. Like, wow, that's real. Like,
if we had met before this, I would say I am all in. Let's do this, and then tell everybody after the election. I'm always for a good joke like that. I'm always down for a prank.
Yes. Like then they get an email, thank you for supporting the Biden campaign, and you're like, as they're wearing their Trump shirt, and like last laugh is with us.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah, I really wish we had met and talked about this sooner.
I know, when I got that, when they told me that idea, I'm like, how didn't you guys tell me this months ago? Like,
I know.
Too late now to get this ball rolling. But the organizations that we donate to, I feel like are such an extension of the brand and what we stand for. That I love. That's my favorite part for me, is being able to give back into brands that support the same kind of movement that we are about.
Right.
Because I never want it to be just about t-shirts. It seems like so empty.
No, and I think that's a great thing too. I think the more you put out there, it manifests good energy for you too. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then you feel better about everything and more lighter. Yeah. That's a good way to put it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
It makes me feel like what I'm doing is more important.
Right. I think that you have such a great idea. I think there are big things coming for you. I'm sure you can feel it. You can feel it. There's good things coming for you. I love it. What else do we have looking forward to coming out of your creations next? Do you know? Or you just...
I never know. Whenever anybody asks me, like, where's it going to be in 5 years? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think of new things I'm like, whenever I get time to think, I'm like, these days during COVID, that's been my biggest complaint thus far.
Yeah.
I feel like the thoughts are like trains moving through my head, and like, they just never get to the other side. So
I hear you.
You know, I think sometimes it's just a day by day thing. I don't force anything. I don't try to push anything. I try to just, some periods in time, it's just about getting through the day. And I think that's kind of where we are as a nation right now. I'm not trying to put the weight on my shoulders that like I need to think or even know what's next, or what's my next idea, or where am I going to go from here. I think just that I have something today, I'm going to sit in the gratitude of that. and, just take it day by day. But yeah, ideas come to me and I go with them, and, it'll just, I'm not going to pressure myself into thinking, otherwise it gets too hard.
I know. I'm already thinking of different T-shirt things for you to say. Maybe you need to do something about COVID.
I know.
The germ balls.
Send the ideas my way,
I know, especially the frontliners. I feel like right now we're just kind of forgotten about, and I think I'll say, employers aren't looking out for the best interests of the employees right now. There's a lot of pressure. Sometimes we're working amongst somebody who might have COVID, might not. For sure. And they can be at work as long as they're taking their temperature twice a day.
I know. Every time I walk into the hospital, I'm like, you guys were all educated on the same level. And I know we're all smart. You realize taking my temperature for me to go in says nothing about how I'm going to feel in 2 days from now. And I can be contagious now. But I'm like, okay, this is all something. That's the thing about COVID in general is like, how much of this kind of stuff do we do just to make ourselves feel like we have that control that we're seeking? And it's like, a lot of it, but I mean, I'm like, but still, I'm like, I that makes it sound like I'm opposed to some of the things we do. And I'm not. Like,
no.
Mask wearing, I promote mask wearing.
Oh yeah.
But of course, some of the things that we're doing are silly and are going to prove to be sillier in hindsight because we're in a pandemic that we're just learning things about as in real time, So like sometimes people, like I hear people say, well, the CDC said this, and then they changed their mind. They didn't change their mind. They learn more information.
It's different every day.
You do better when you know better. And that's just what it is, Yeah.
One thing I do know for sure is, I don't know if you notice it with the mask, my eyes are puffier under them, and I don't know if it's more wrinkles, but they kind of fall back into my head, and I'm like, what is happening here? And it's because we're blowing hot air in our face 12 hours a day, and it's just like, we're gonna be a little toxic.
I know. I tried to wear an N95 at work the other day, and I was like, I can't wear this for 12 hours.
I don't even know how you can wear it for 5 minutes.
No, it hurt my face.
Yeah.
But I have to wear those for certain patients anyways, but usually you're just going in the room and out of the room, and I can tolerate it for a short, but I'm like 13 hours with that on my face. I was like, I just went back to my surgical mask and my shield, and I'm all good,
Yeah, that's our look for that. There you go. There's a T-shirt with that.
Yeah. Like, you don't have to worry about brushing your teeth as much. I mean, there are pros.
Nobody else notice. Only you smell it now. Oh, that's so funny. Well, thank you so much for doing the podcast with us today.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Well, there's not us.
Thank you for having me.
But I want everybody to go to their site, The Bee and the Fox. They have super cute T-shirts like mine. I'm the dime store cowgirl. If it's the Dr. Sarah one-on-one brand from Nashville.
Oh, very cute.
Yeah.
Thanks for
I
That's
love
awesome.
It. All right. And the material is really good too. Actually, one of my mom's friends was here the other day and she goes, this is really nice. I like the feel.
Sometimes we get people that complain about our price point. Like usually it's on Facebook, which I don't know why. Maybe it's like coupon clipper culture on Facebook or something, but it's like brand new people that don't know about the brand or haven't read anything about the brand.
Yeah.
Like this much for a t-shirt. I'm like, it's small batch and it's super good quality.
And it's good quality. It's so nice. The material is so nice. And I'm not even just saying that. It's so nice.
No, I'm like, I know it is.
I know. I like it.
Yeah, it feels good.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your day. And
thanks so much.
By the Sidelines with Sarah. We'll talk to you soon. Keep in touch.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.